Welcome to the deep dive. This time, we're strapping in, right, for a journey through time and the human psyche, of course, with Joe Haldeman's The Forever War.
Mhm.
And this isn't just any sci-fi adventure. We're going to be experiencing war through the eyes of William Mandela. He's a soldier yanked from a physics lecture hall and thrown onto a battlefield that spans centuries.
And what's fascinating about the Forever War is that it's not just, lasers and spaceships. It's about the deeply personal cost of war,
Yeah.
the way it warps your perception of time, reality, even your own humanity.
You've given us a lot to unpack, excerpts from the novel itself. So we're right there with Mandela every step of the way. So buckle up because this deep dive is about to get pretty intense.
Yeah.
The story kicks off with William Mandela, right? Fresh out of university, physics degree, you'd think lab coat, right?
Right.
Nope, he's drafted into the most brutal boot camp imaginable.
It's a brilliant contrast that Haldeman sets up, right? You have these intellectual elites chosen for their minds, being prepped for a war that's as much about brute force as it is about strategy. And the training itself is designed to strip away everything familiar. Remember, like, the descriptions of Turan?
Oh, brutal doesn't even begin to cover it.
Yep.
Intense, cold, unforgiving terrain, the threat of death just always looming, even in training.
Yeah,
Like, it makes you realize these soldiers, they're being dehumanized from day one.
precisely. They were selected because they're smart, yet they're treated as completely expendable. It's a chilling foreshadowing of what's to come. And then there's the fighting suit itself. This weapon, so powerful, it's almost as dangerous to the wearer as it is to the enemy.
It's like Haldeman's telling us right from the start that in this war, even the tools that are meant to protect you can turn against you.
Mm.
And speaking of unsettling, the novel does not shy away from, like, the psychological impact of war.
Yeah,
That first encounter with the Taurans, talk about shattering expectations.
that scene is pivotal. You've got Mandela pumped full of all this propaganda about the enemy, and then he comes face to face with a Tauran. And it's not this monstrous creature he's been conditioned to expect.
Right.
It throws everything into question.
And then there's, like, the hypnotic conditioning, right? They use on the soldiers.
Mhm.
Mandela questions it, but you can see it working on him even as he's grappling with the reality of the Taurans.
It's insidious. This ingrained need to kill, to just eliminate the enemy. It stays with him even when he's away from the front lines. And this is just the beginning of his journey.
And what a journey it is. Because then we get to the whole time dilation aspect.
Right.
Mandela comes back from a mission thinking a few years have passed, only to find out it's been decades on Earth.
Yeah.
Imagine coming home to a world that's aged without you.
That feeling of dislocation,
Yeah.
of being unmoored from time itself, it's central to Mandela's experience. And it speaks to, I think, the universal experience of war, how it separates you from everything and everyone you know, often irrevocably.
It's like stepping into an alternate reality, this future you never, like, signed up for.
Right.
And Haldeman really lays it on thick with the details.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Food rationing, a government that's even more controlling than the one that he left behind.
Yeah.
Societal changes that make him feel like a relic.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder that while technology might win battles, it's the quiet, steady march of time on the home front that truly alters a society.
And Mandela is carrying all this, like, psychological aftershocks of war.
Right.
He's trying to navigate this strange new world. That incident in London where he kills the mugger,
Yeah.
it's chilling.
It's a gut punch moment in the book. It makes
Yeah.
you question, like, is this still the same idealistic physics grad we met at the beginning?
Right.
Or has, this constant exposure to violence, this ingrained kill or be killed mentality, fundamentally changed who he is?
It's tragic. Like, it's as if the only world that still makes sense to him is the battlefield. Even if it means, like, being catapulted centuries into the future with every re-enlistment.
Each leap forward just deepens that disconnect.
Right.
He's stuck in this horrifying loop of returning to a world that's less and less familiar, his memories turning into these faded photographs of a past he can never reclaim.
And it's not just the time jumps. Haldeman throws in these technological advancements
Right.
that raise even bigger questions about what it means to be human. Like, remember the whole thing about homosexuality becoming normalized?
It's jarring.
Yeah.
But it's a way to control the population after centuries of war.
Yeah.
Haldeman makes you think about, like, the potential consequences of unchecked technological progress, right?
Right.
Is it really progress if it comes at the cost of individual freedom and choice?
It's a question that feels incredibly relevant today, even though this book was written decades ago.
Right.
Like, are we so gung-ho about advancements that we don't even think about the ethical implications?
Exactly, yeah. Haldeman isn't giving answers, but he's definitely raising some red flags. And amidst all this, like, the war itself starts to feel like this monstrous, faceless entity.
Right.
Like, what are they even fighting for anymore?
That's where that whole section about the stasis field comes in, right? It's
Yes.
more than just a training ground. It feels symbolic of the whole war. Like this manufactured conflict where soldiers are endlessly pitted against simulated enemies.
Absolutely, yeah. It's almost as if Haldeman is saying, like, the real enemy might not be the Taurans, but the very nature of war itself.
Yeah.
This endless cycle that chews up individuals and spits them out as shadows of their former selves.
And it all kind of culminates in that incredible but heartbreaking ending, right?
Yeah.
Mandela's choice at Sade 138, like knowing he might be sacrificing himself to detonate those bombs. It's it's a decision born out of sheer desperation.
It's the weight of everything he's endured, you know? Centuries of fighting, this, the constant loss, the disillusionment. He sees the futility of it all. And he makes a choice to end it, even if it costs him, everything.
And yet there's this like haunting ambiguity to it. Did he survive? What becomes of humanity after this forever war? Haldeman doesn't give us easy answers, does he?
He doesn't, and that's what makes the novel so powerful. It's not a neat and tidy ending where good triumphs over evil. It's a reflection of the messy, enduring consequences of war, like the scars that linger long after the fighting stops.
And it's that image of the cat, the one he leaves behind, that really gets me. In the grand scheme of interstellar battles and galaxy-spanning conflicts, it's such a small, insignificant detail.
Right.
And yet,
it's the detail that lingers.
yeah.
It makes you question, like, in a war that spans centuries, do individual lives even matter, or are they just casualties in this larger, indifferent machine?
Right.
It's a question that resonates long after you finish the book.
It really does. It's a reminder that no matter how advanced technology becomes, right, these core questions about war and its impact on on the human soul, they remain the same. It's a story that stays with you, makes you think, makes you feel. And that's exactly what a deep dive like this is supposed to do, right?
Absolutely, yeah. And on that note, maybe we should leave our listener with one final lingering thought.
Yeah.
If, as Haldeman suggests, war can warp time and reshape humanity itself, can we ever truly emerge victorious?
Something to ponder.